Welcome, welcome, everybody. We are just getting ready. Thank you for your patience.
Hi, everyone.
We're just getting ready and making sure that all the tools are in place for today's lesson. Now, there might be a little bit of glare on your screen when you see these boards, but we'll get close to them so you can see them. Well, we're very happy to have you all. Bienvenidos a todos. Vamos a comenzar dentro de unos 2 minutos. Gracias por la paciencia que han tenido. Hemos preparado hoy para la clase muy buena.
Turn that around. All right. Hi, everybody. Yay. I'm so excited to lead this today. All right. We are almost ready to go. Let's do it. Hopefully, you're all having an amazing day. Ready to talk about finding the one, ready to discover how to be a better dancer, how to listen to music at a higher level. It'll be so good for everybody. Maybe some of you already know this information, but maybe you don't. So it'll be awesome to share it all with you. All right. Shall we?
We shall.
Okay, let's do it. All right. Hi, everyone. I'm Serena Cuevas. This is Nery Garcia. Give it up. Woo-hoo! Okay, you go first. It's your channel. Hi, everybody. I just wanted to say hi again.
Welcome to everybody. We're super
Bienvenidos
excited.
a todos.
We're super excited because to us this is actually one of the most important, if not the most important class that we'll be giving
All time.
of all time.
Kind of.
Because this is the soul of the reason why we're all learning how to dance. So I am really excited about this class. Serena's going to be doing the first section of this class, part one, and then I'll jump in the second part for the practical application on how we're going to use everything that she's going to give you. En español, bienvenidos a todos, gracias por estar aquí. Esta es una de las más importantes de las clases que vamos a dar porque la música es lo que nos maneja para bailar. Ahora, la primera parte de esta clase va a ser con Serena Cuevas. Ella va a hablar, yo voy a traducir lo mejor posible. Yo sé que muchos de ustedes hablan español y vamos a hacer lo mejor posible para darle toda la información. Ella va a hacer la primera parte y después yo voy a hacer la segunda parte donde vamos a aplicar todo lo que ella va a hablar hoy. ¿Ok, Serena Cuevas?
Okay, vámonos.
The floor is yours.
All right, hello, and yay. So this is the first time that we're leading a course like this live to the planet. Usually this is the kind of material that we cover privately or private lessons when people really have trouble or struggle to, quote, find the one. So it's really exciting, like we said already, and thank you for being with me on this first time, sharing this information with the planet. So first, very first off, I'd love to acknowledge that I have always studied and listened to music really deeply. I always ask musicians a lot of questions, but this is the first time in my life, I think maybe about a year now, that I've really taken on learning music at a deeper level. So it doesn't just enhance who I am as a dancer and as an instructor, but really gives me the opportunity to be able to articulate and share and have demonstrations and stuff like that. So that's really what I wanted, was to translate what I know and be able to share it with others. So a huge thank you to Manny Cepeda, who's been mentoring me in this process. And again, I'm a student of music and hopefully soon a musician as well. But right now I'm in that phase of being able to translate and share what I know with all of you. So thanks for being here today. I'm going to lead you both from my notes and from the board, so let's get started. The first thing that we're going to talk about is about how we hear, okay? So right now, when we listen to music, it's kind of like this, like we're really listening for immediately like, oh, is this pleasant or unpleasant? like right away, like, oh, I like that beat, or oh, I like that song. It's about liking it or not liking it. And so what we want to do first is really alter our listening to not just be filtering, do we like it or not, but to develop the filter, develop the ability to filter music, not just through that, but through hearing for beats and hearing for bars and hearing for structure. Okay, so you want to just kind of get the whole world of what we're going to do is really we're going to take you down a little journey of discovering how you're already hearing and then how you want to develop your listening. Okay, it's really about developing your listening. Yes.
I need to tell them in
Oh, en
Spanish.
español.
So, lo que acaba de decir ella es que ahorita vamos a mostrar cómo la gente ahorita está oyendo la música. Muchas de las veces que uno oye la música va a decir, me gusta esa canción o no me gusta.
Right.
Pero ahora tenemos que ver por qué es la razón que hicieron esa canción, cómo la hicieron, la estructura de la canción. Y esto es lo más importante que nos va a explicar Serena hoy, porque de eso vamos a ver cómo podemos encontrar los latidos en la música, vamos a hablar de los bares y cómo se va a construir una canción. Go ahead.
Perfecto.
Gracias, estoy tratando.
Okay, so the main thing we do, the next thing that we usually do, like if you're at a club or wherever you are, maybe you're in your car and you play a song, you can immediately, or most people can immediately find this beat. They're like, okay, you start moving to it. It's the thing that we clap to. It's the thing that we can snap to. It's the way we move our body to it. So most people can identify that right away, okay? Now, once you identify the beat, okay, well now what? We've discovered the beat, great. All right, that's the first thing. But now, where are you in the bar? Like, where are you actually in the whole music structure? Where does that beat lie and what does it mean? So that's what we're going to talk about next. So discovering the beat, true. When you discover the beat, you're discovering the 1, 3, 1, 3, 1, 3. You're discovering usually what's called the downbeat, okay? So you're going 1, 3, 1. And some of you may be like, no, it's like 1, 3, 5, 7. That's true. We're going to get to that as well. Different item. But for now, just know we're discovering the downbeat, and it's 1, 3, 1, 3. Now, how do we know which one is the 1, which one is the 3, and then, of course, for dancers, which one is the 5 and which one is the 7? So that'll take me into the next part of what we're going to talk about. So that's what happens. That's how we hear. And then we start discovering the beat. Okay, 1, 3, all right, you can move your body to a song, but now what? Okay, so now we're gonna go to this board over here. So right here, oh, yeah.
Yes.
Sorry.
Perdón, ahora ella va a hablar del segundo tema que tenemos, que es cómo vamos a descubrir el latido en la música. A veces uno siente la música, mueve la cabeza y oye el latido, pero ¿qué vamos a hacer con eso? Ahora ella va a hablar de la diferencia en cómo vamos a encontrar el 1, el 3, el 5 y el 7. A veces nos confundimos con el 1 y el 5, ella va a hablar de eso, pero ahorita vamos a ver en esta parte de aquí, al lado de ella, donde ella va a hablar de lo que se significa la construcción o la estructura de un bar o contra 8 contados.
Awesome. Great. I wish I could just say it in Spanish. You know what? Soon, you guys. It's coming.
Pronto.
Okay, so a bar. What is a bar? We hear things, musical terms like bars and measures, right? So a bar is a measure, first off, that is one and the same. And a bar consists of 4 beats. So what you really want to notice here, I made my amazing display for you all. Hopefully that helps. And so what you really want to see here is that the bar consists of 4 beats, right? 1, 2, 3, and 4. But from 1 to 4 is actually that's your bar, right? That's the whole thing. Now, how do we go from a bar to an 8 count? Like, what's the difference? The bar is 4 beats, like I said, And an 8 count, or, you know, as dancers, we call it an 8 count, right? 1, 2, 3, especially salsa timing. And by the way, I'm working in salsa timing today. You have...
Sí, ahorita ella va a explicar la diferencia contra el bar y los contados de 8. Un bar contiene 1, 2, 3 y 4. Ese es un bar, a comparado a los 8 que están abajo. Y vamos a hablar todo de tiempo en salsa.
Sí, with a heart, because I love it. Okay, so the next thing we want to realize is that an 8 count is actually 2 bars, okay? It's the first bar
La primera barra,
and the second bar.
la segunda barra.
Sorry, this looks fabulous though. All right, so your first bar, it's really just 2 bars together. So truly our counts are 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. This is how we would be counting if we were counting as musicians, or if we were counting true to the way music is formed, okay? It's 2 bars together.
Ella está explicando que ahorita 2 varas hacen un conteo de 8. Que si uno es un músico, vamos a contar 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Pero como bailarines, vamos a usar 2 varas para contar hasta el 8. Go ahead.
Right, and so now, when we, as, let's say, salseros, right, we're counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, and most dancers, pretty much all dancers are counting, if their music is created in 4/4 time, which also we'll have to do in part 2 another day, but if their music is structured like this, then they're counting 1 through 8. And we do that as dancers in order to distinguish the difference between our right side and our left side. This is very important. This is like everything, okay? That's the threshold between being a musician and understanding music and being a dancer who understands music.
Lo más importante, lo que ella acaba de explicar, es que la diferencia de un músico a un bailarín es que estamos contando 1, 2, 3, 4 como músico, pero como somos bailarines tenemos que saber el lado derecho y el lado izquierdo. Por eso estamos usando el 1, 2, 3, 4, puede ser para el lado izquierdo, y la segunda barra que es el 5, 6, 7, 8 para el lado derecho como bailarín.
So it's really just 2 bars, as you can see.
2 varas.
But a dancer who's dancing in salsa timing,
Un bailarín.
we are counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, okay? Now, the next part, hopefully you all understand that, and the next part is really taking the salsa timing and now using the rhythm of salsa inside of these 8 counts. So the rhythm in salsa has us dance for 3 steps. We dance on 3 beats, and on the 4th beat, we rest. We dance on 3 beats, and on the 4th beat, we rest. That's why our counts are 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7.
Lo que ella acaba de explicar es que como bailarín, el ritmo de la música nos tiene bailando en 3 y vamos a pausar o descansar en el 4. 1, 2, 3 son pasos y el 4 tomamos descanso. Lo mismo con la segunda vara, 5, 6, 7 son pasos y el 8 es descanso.
And if you really want to do this perfectly, music-wise, you would just be saying 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And you hear that in a lot of ballroom teaching and things like that. They're going more from the music, the way it's created. And with a lot of the street Latin dances like salsa, bachata, cha-cha, merengue, cumbia, we are dancing more for the whole 8 count. Again, to distinguish the difference between left and right. So this should take you through the journey of the difference between a bar and an 8 count, and really how related they are. An 8 count is what? It's just 2 bars put together. Now, when we're counting in our music, like, I'm gonna play a salsa song for you right now, Vente Negra. Okay, a lot of us have been using this song for practice for the last few years. It's very popular, and why this song is so popular. I mean, could be many reasons, but one of the main reasons is because it follows the structure of music almost perfectly. So I'm gonna play that song for you right now.
Ahorita Serena va a usar una canción que se llama Vente Negra, que la usamos muchos como instructores de salsa porque nos enseña la estructura de una canción perfectamente. Y esta canción la vamos a usar para explicar cómo trabaja el sistema de la construcción o la estructura de una canción, especialmente en salsa.
Right. All right, so I'm gonna turn it up just a little bit. Let's see how we go. Now, what you want to be looking for is like this is the basic general construct of most music today, especially like rock music, pop music, I mean salsa music. Just pick a song and you should be able to follow this order, okay? And we'll fill in this gap right
Ok, la parte 5 que estamos viendo aquí es un ejemplo de cómo una canción está construida. Si uno oye música como rock, what else? Rock, pop music, o música pop, música latina, siempre va a haber un intro, una versa, el coro, el precoro, el coro, la segunda versa. So this is really important of learning how the construction, la estructura, es bien importante que vamos a aprender ahorita la estructura de una canción, especialmente negra.
And before I play the song, it's very important to understand also that going from your bar and you're placing that now into your listening of the music, what we're going to discuss really deeper next time is called music progression, okay? And that is where there's a natural rise and fall, or I call it a natural rise and fall because I'm a dancer, of the music, right? Inside of these two bars, there's a natural rise in the first part, and there's a natural fall at the end. So, especially in salsa, I mean, everything, right? You'll hear it. We're going to do some examples. So, there's a natural rise. It either peaks like at the 1 or the 2, boom, and it has a nice little fall right there. So, this natural rise and fall it's honestly how most people, they skip right to musical progression. They go straight to it and they're listening for the rise and fall and they're like, okay, and now here's the 1, okay, and that's how people find the 1. They don't think about bars. You don't think about bars and timing. How I grew up was listen for the rise and fall, and I wasn't even told that. I was told listen for the big part of the music. I'm like, I don't know what that is, but it's here, and I could identify it by somebody telling me the big part of the music. So hopefully that makes sense in español.
En español, el número 4 aquí, que es la progresión de la música, es un tema que vamos a tocar en la segunda parte de esta clase. Pero lo que ella está explicando es cómo en la música hay una parte donde comienza a subir en el 1, 2, 3, 4 y después comienza a bajar otra vez hasta el 8 y sube otra vez. Eso lo vamos a explicar en la segunda parte, no hoy, pero es algo importante a veces. Esto es lo que nos ayuda a veces a encontrar el 1. Ella tenía un profesor que le decía, oye, para la parte más fuerte y ahí está el 1. Y ella a veces no entendía que como mucha gente que no pueden encontrar esa parte. Okay, so I have somebody says, I never heard that the 8 counts in dance were to mark the left side from the right side. Great info.
Oh, good. Yeah, you're welcome.
Mm-hmm.
It's
for musicians, for dancers.
Yeah, it's very helpful because that's how we can teach. For example, salsa, we can teach left side together, right side together, or forward together, like my chanclas, and together. So yeah, it's really important, and it helps people. For those of you who are teachers out there, this is so awesome and critical, and I'm really excited to implement this in my school. I hope you all do too. Okay, so let's move into using Vente Negra as an example, and just kind of follow along with me. Now, this song is really great, like I said, and I want you to see this, and we're gonna go downward, okay? The song will start in its intro, first verse, pre-chorus, and so on, Okay, we're gonna follow just like that.
Ahorita vamos a oír la canción Vente Negra y ella nos va a indicar las partes donde dice el intro, la primera versa, el precoro, el coro, el segundo verso y nos va a explicar cada momento en la canción.
All right, now the thing that you want to know is it's not just that these are the parts that are coming up, but that it always follows either 8 count. I'm going to speak in 8 counts as a dancer, but you could say, 16 bars, 32 bars, 64 bars, and so on. It always has that system of 12, 8, 32, or 64, or 12. It's pretty systematic, every song. So, and what you hear will repeat. And that's the beautiful thing about music is it's so pattern oriented. Okay, we'll talk about that later.
But Serena, you're saying that when you say 16 or 32, 8 counts, not
Or
bars.
'Cause
Okay.
it might be like 16 bars, but 16 8 counts, but 32 bars, right?
Right, because they're doubled.
Right, because
Okay.
or 32 bars is 16. Yeah, it doesn't matter, either way. Okay, so let's get started with this one. And I'll turn up the music a little bit so you can hear. If you cannot hear or it's not clear for some reason, just let us know in the comments. Okay, and
I'll
what
back
I'm
up.
gonna do is annotate the number of 8 counts. So as a dancer, what are we listening for? We're listening inside of 8 counts because that's what we use. We use 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I'm gonna annotate the number of each one and you can listen along. Ready, set, go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 2, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 3, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 4, 2, 3, 4, 5, bring it up, 5, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 6, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7, 2, 3, 4, 5, I bet it's 8, 8, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7,
Negra, vente pa' acá,
4, 5, 6, first
que ya
verse,
no puedo más.
La primera versa.
Estoy muy lejos de ti y tú en La Habana bailando pa' poder olvidar. ¿Cómo quieren que no me consuma todo el día fumando hachís? Y no me ves nada de nada, casi nada en la nariz. ¿Y cómo quieren que no te discuta tanta cosa de amor? Oye, si de repente te digo vente y tú no vienes, que no.
El pre-coros.
It's actually a repeat of the intro. Okay? That only had 4.
Vente, buena, buena, vente.
Now the chorus. 3, 2, 3.
A mí lo mismo me da 40 que 20, por eso digo vente pa' acá. Oye, vente negra, vente pa' mi cobre, negrita buena. Te digo vente pa' acá. Oye, vente, buena, buena, vente. Vente negra, vente pa' mi cobre,
11.
que yo no puedo más, que yo no puedo más sin tu amor. Pienso en tus ojos cerrados, la tarde
La segunda versa ahora.
So you can see it's following the flow.
sangre, la tarde pidiendo
And
amor.
I'm just annotating how many 8 counts are in.
Y en tu frente sin color, y en tu garganta una llama, la tarde pidiendo amor.
Daniel, no se preocupe, que lo vamos a hacer en español.
Amor, vente negra, vente
Back to the chorus.
Estamos en el coro ahora.
That was 4 for the
negra,
chorus.
vente pa' acá.
A separate part of the
Que
chorus.
ya no puedo más. Estoy muy lejos de ti y tú en La Habana bailando pa' poder olvidar. ¿Cómo quieres que no me
So now we're back.
todo
And
el
they're
día
repeating
fumando
the lyrics from the first verse.
Ahora estamos de regreso en la primera versa. Están repitiendo todo.
¿Cómo quieres que no te discuta tanta cosa de amor?
Right here,
Oye, si de
they're
repente
building something up. This is called a monad. Right here, it's going to build up into what's called a bridge. So they're repeating something from the beginning. This is very classic for dancing, okay, or for salsa music. So in this repetition, you could know we're kind of on our way out of the song. We're in the second half of the song.
Ahorita estamos en la segunda parte de la canción. Está creciendo ahora la música en algo que se llama la moña. Está creciendo, está creciendo. El puente de la música.
This part's gonna repeat.
Esta
It's our
parte
outro.
se va a repetir.
Okay.
Ahora vamos para el outro, que significa el final de la canción.
Over and over.
Sigue y sigue. Ese es el outro.
Okay, and that one goes for 14. Okay, so what happens is in this song, in your bridge is like that guitar riff, that like smooth part, but in this particular song, it's smooth. But in so many salsa songs, there's that beautiful thing we call the break, where we break away, we do shines, we just like get down. Okay, structurally, that's the same part. It's called the moña. It has a peak, it has this high energy, and it's also the beginning of the end. Yeah.
En español.
Oh,
Okay. Ella está hablando del momento que todos hacemos pasos libres, es en el momento donde explicamos dónde llega la moña. Y a veces se llama, puede ser descarga o algo, la descarga de la canción, pero es en esa parte donde ella ha hecho un círculo, donde dice bridge, que es el puente, es la parte que se llama moña, y ahí es donde uno pone los pasos libres.
Yes, it's like my favorite part of every song ever. And in pop song, you'll hear it identified differently. But it's still, even in pop songs, right, it's still following the same structure. It's just not going to be, the timbale solo or something like that. In pop songs, it might be something else. It might be where they do like a rap break, or it might be like where they have a drum solo or something.
So, Serena, can you break down those numbers? Some people are joining us.
Sure.
So,
So this was how many 8 counts. Remember, as a dancer, I'm counting in 8 counts. Maybe I'm gonna choreograph this song, and I want to know how many 8 counts are in the intro. How many 8 counts are in the first verse? Because I want, the little kids to do this part or something. How many 8 counts do I need to create? So I counted this song for you in 8 counts, not in bars, but in 8 counts.
ok. Ella acaba de contar la música, no en varas, que varas se recuerdan que es 1 al 4, pero ella lo está contando como ella está bailando en 8. Y cada vez que ella está contando los números aquí, el intro tuvo 8.
The first verse had 12.
La segunda, 12.
The pre-chorus had 4, etc.
Pero son contados de 8.
So, and I stopped here because I was talking about something. But if you take this formula and you play that song or any song, you're able to do it as well. Now remember, songs follow this as a guide. Okay, songwriters, music composers, this is a guideline. And there are some artists that don't follow this, but it's rare. And the people who don't follow that are really like trying to do some like cutting edge, wild, crazy new stuff. I know like Billie Eilish, for example, some of her songs follow this on point, and some of them are totally off and amazing and fresh. So, you want to be now you can be listening for what follows the typical music structure and what doesn't.
Esto es una estructura que muchos de los músicos usan para seguir su música. Miremos aquí, tenemos el intro que tiene 8, después 12, después 4, después regreso al coro a 12, después a 8. Es algo que mucho de la música, si uno lo hace solito y quiere hacer este ejercicio, puede encontrar que mucha de la música es así, pero no todas. Hay gente que sí lo cambió un poco.
Right. So this is a super summary. Remember, this is something that you can take with you, and it should give you, it should really be opening your eyes to music and opening your ears, opening your listening, so that don't just listen. When you hear a song, don't just listen like, do I like this song or not like this song? But really listen for the structure. The last thing I'm going to say that's very important and very valuable is when you're listening to this music and you have like, okay, these structures and things like that, notice that there are patterns, okay? And a lot of people ask me, and I'm sure you, Nery, and everybody who teaches, people ask me like, oh, when you were social dancing that song, like you hit every, big change in the music, that was amazing. Is this one of your favorite songs? And I'm like, I never heard that song in my life. But we are listening for patterns. We're really zoned into patterns of the music. So Venta Negra also is a great example of that because it's, like I said, very systematic, follows the guide for the most part, and then it repeats, okay? You can hear when we're going from verse into chorus or verse into chorus. You can hear the outro is repeating. The background singers that are repeating what they're saying, and the lead singer is playing with the melody. So it's really beautiful. That's also in another part we'll talk about singers and how the actual songwriting goes in sections as well. But yes, so I hope this works for you all. I hope this makes a huge difference. And remember, be listening for patterns in music. That's how you can just hear a song on the radio and just like flow to it. And it's how you're going to be able to identify where the bridge is, when the break is coming. You'll know leads to send your lady out and it's like the perfect moment to do shines.
En español, ok. Lo que ella está explicando esto es una parte pequeña de cómo en realidad la música está construida, tiene su estructura, pero sí tienen que buscar las frases. Siempre hay una repetición. Si ven que en el intro con la segunda versa siempre puede ver, mire, hay 8 conteos, 8, y va a haber una parte que uno va a sentir, y va a sentir cuando el moño llega
Moña.
y, ¿cómo?
Moña.
Moña. La moña llega y uno ya sabe que esa es la parte bien alta de la canción. Es algo que uno tiene que oír a la música, y no solo oír si le gusta o no le gusta, pero tiene que comenzar a poner atención a cómo es la estructura de la música, porque después eso es lo que nos va a crear la confianza en bailar en la pista. Ahora, si le gusta la información lo que le estamos dando, por favor denos likes para que así podamos hacer la segunda parte y en realidad ayudarlos más.
We have one more example before Nery takes over.
Tenemos un ejemplo más antes de que yo, Nery, haga la segunda parte.
I love all types of music, but one of my favorite is pop music because I love it. I don't know why, but I do. And someone who's been really popular and like hot right now is Ed Sheeran, okay? And one of the song that like kind of made him famous, Shape of You. We're gonna use that song right now just quickly to end this portion. And I want you to be listening for what could be a pattern in the song. It's like perfectly systematic.
A Serena le encanta la salsa, pero también le gusta la música pop. Y ahora ella nos va a dar un ejemplo de una canción por un artista que se llama Ed Sheeran. Una canción que es bien popular, y ella nos va a enseñar cómo también sigue la misma regla que muchos de estos hacen para construir su música. Vamos a ponerle atención a esta canción para ver la estructura, cómo hicieron esta canción.
Now, what's also awesome in the song is you can know that the chorus is coming because of the patterns that you hear. So just give it a listen. We're just going to do a short part of the song, and then we'll move on to practical with Nery.
Lo bonito de esta canción, dice ella, es que uno puede presentir cuando viene el coro, porque así fue la estructura como le hicieron, y por eso es bien popular esta canción, porque tiene esa cosa en común con la gente que puede oír la música y le hace sentido.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Already first verse.
La primera versa, ya.
Me and my friends at the table doing shots, tripping fast and then we talk slow. Come over and start up a conversation with just me, and trust me, I'll give it a chance. Now take my hand, stop it, and the man on the jukebox, and then we start to dance. And now I'm singing like, girl, you know I want your love. Your love was handmade for somebody like me. Come on now, follow my lead.
Busquen la estructura,
Chorus.
el coro.
I'm in love with the shape of you.
And what is
Pull
it?
like a magnet.
Moving to the beat.
That's right. ¿Qué es eso? Moviéndonos al latido de la música.
Last night you were in my room, and now my bed sheets smell like you. Every day discovering something brand new.
What's next?
I'm in love with your body.
La segunda versa.
Continuing. Then to the chorus. Then we're gonna move into second verse.
I'm in love with your body.
This will repeat, right?
Every day
Eso se va a repetir. Escuche.
with the shape of you. We came, we looked
Second verse.
La segunda versa.
our first date. You and me, if
All right. And so on and so on and so on.
Y sigue, y sigue, y sigue.
So really awesome. I love explaining this, and I usually find that I explain it mostly in private lessons, and I explain it to people who really struggle with finding the one. But I just want to say right now, just because you can find the one, I really learned for myself in teaching all these years. Just because people can find the one does not mean they know anything about musical structure, form, composition, and pattern work.
Lo que cabe explicar, Serena, es que a veces cuando uno como bailarín sabe encontrar el uno, en realidad uno no sabe cómo es la estructura de la música. Es bien importante que sí pueden educarse, agarrar una clase en música, fuera ideal para su baile, porque después podemos hablar de cómo uno sabe que la canción va a llegar a su alto, a su bajo, y además de eso, a la misma vez, es bien importante que se puede educar uno para en realidad seguir en esto lo que llamamos el baile.
So, thank you for being my audience in my first class. of
¡Yay!
music.
Serena,
Woo!
ya dice gracias.
And that is a foreshadow into musicality, right? So the more you understand music, the deeper this is for you, and the more practice you have in identifying that, the more awesome your dances are going to be for yourself as an experience. You'll feel more connected to the music, and I know that's what it's like for me and my team, and I hope that
We're not
you
done,
love
folks.
it. We're not done. We're
This
not
is just
done.
part one.
This is
I'm
part
gonna
one.
jump in 'cause
And now Nery's on right now for practical application. Ready, set, go.
People were lagging out.
No, you
Don't
guys.
lag out. We still have more. This, I'm gonna just jump in here. Serena, you did such a beautiful job.
Oh,
This stuff is. I know, it's okay. Sorry, I'll be out of the camera. And so it's really important that now that you've taken this into account, we can actually apply it to music, okay? And how are we going to practice that? Does that work? Yes? Okay. So I'm gonna leave this up, but I'm actually gonna take one down. And here we go. So one of the hardest things for me as a dancer when I was learning was really having confidence in how to dance. So many of us take classes on moves and what kind of moves, and we're so worried about this as a lead that our partner's going to be bored. And so we're taking moves, but we really don't apply ourselves to really listening to the music. Lo que estoy hablando en este momento es, esta parte vamos a tomar lo que usó Serena, lo que ella explicó, y lo vamos a aplicar físicamente. Ahora, el problema es que muchas de las clases que tomamos son todo de movimientos, son realmente de todo lo que pensamos que la chica o el chico queremos hacer más movimientos, pero en realidad no estamos conectando con la música. Para mí es algo que yo tenía problemas porque no tenía la confianza de llegar a la pista y bailar porque siempre sabía que yo iba a estar afuera del latido o del ritmo. I've always been, and I'm not afraid to say this because it's part of the real life, that I would go to a club and I had my moves written on the sheet of paper. Great, I had these moves, but every time that I stepped onto the dance floor, this confidence that I thought I had would just completely go away. And I don't know how many of you feel that way, but it's something that I dealt with because my confidence would shoot down immediately because I knew that I was going to be off beat. And usually,
The mic is off.
is it? It is off. Check, check, check. Oh, perfect, thank you. So, it's very important for me to teach this part because these are exercises that I use to get better at finding the one. Now remember, I was student just like yourself, 3 years off beat, and sometimes I would approach a lady and I knew I was off beat and she would make a face looking at me like, what are you dancing on? I don't know how many of you have ever experienced that, but I have. En español, realmente lo que me ha pasado a mí en el pasado es que la confianza para bailar siempre fue difícil al principio, y solo porque en realidad tenía todo escrito, todos los movimientos, pero cuando llegaba a la pista no podía encontrar el uno, no sabía qué era el uno, no sabía en cuándo iba a marcar el uno, y cada vez que sacaba una chica a bailar, siempre se me bajaba el moral porque sabía que no iba a estar en el látigo o en el ritmo correcto. Y siempre ella se me quedaba viendo como, Nery, ¿qué estás bailando? ¿Qué? Y eso me bajaba el moral y después no quería bailar porque no sabía cómo encontrar el uno. Ahora les voy a ayudar a ustedes cómo pueden usar unos ejercicios que yo uso para encontrar el uno y entrenar el oído. Now, one thing that is really important is confidence, and I'm going to say it's confidence in everything. It doesn't matter if you're a leader or a follower. It's important that both, my rule is that both understand where the one is, okay? And for some reason, ladies, and I commend my ladies, Serena, I don't know how long it took you to find the one the first time you ever danced.
I don't know. My dad was like, find the one.
Boom, it's right there.
Okay. I think I was born with the one.
Like 2 seconds it took her to find the one, while it took me 3 years. But I never gave up. Now, there's 2 types of connections. When you walk into a club, there's the physical, the people are around, the drinks, the bars, all that stuff is around. And then you have the second one, which is music. But in actuality, when you walk into a club, what is it that you hear in a parking lot? It's the music, right? And you're like, oh my gosh, that's my jam. Lo que estoy explicando es que hay 2 tipos de conexiones, ¿verdad? Cuando uno va a un social, a un baile, ve la gente, sabe que uno va a tomar el tiempo para bailar con esa gente, la bebida y todo. Realmente estamos en la segunda conexión, que es la música. Realmente es la primera conexión que nos debe de importar. Porque si estamos estacionados en un parqueo y estamos viendo la música bien, a veces entramos y decimos, wow, esa es mi canción, y después buscamos la pareja. The beauty about it is that we already do that intuitively, is that we walk in, we hear the music, and we say, that's my jam. And then you start looking for your second connection, which is the partner, okay? So it's very important that we understand that we must train music top before we train partner. And somehow we have it backwards. So, if we bring this, and I don't know if you can see this, I know, can you zoom in and zoom out? Yes, thank you. So it's very important that, and I'm going to talk about this. If you can't see it, it's okay. I will talk about everything. Now, the most important part, it's okay to make mistakes, okay? Say that with me. It's okay to make mistakes. Lo más importante que voy a hablar ahorita es que por favor entiendan que nos vamos a equivocar. Y si eso pasa, está bien. Estamos aprendiendo. Lo mejor de esto es que si nos vamos a equivocar, tenemos que saber a dónde nos equivocamos. It's important that we make mistakes, but we understand where was the mistake made, because if we keep doing it without being conscious of it, then you're not going to change and you're not going to learn. So that's why we're doing this class. Now, standing versus sitting. There's so many things. How do I listen to music and how do I know that that's the one? Okay? You can always write this stuff down, and it's important that you pick up either a board and a piece of paper. If you can see this, and I don't know, you can see, the structure when you're writing these things down, that you actually make notes, that you're constantly going 1, 2, 3, 4, all these things, okay? If that doesn't make sense, you're going to have to feel it. And some people will say, Nery, I don't need to count 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. I feel the music. How many of you have ever said that? I've said that before in the past, but what are you truly feeling? So one of the things that we're going to do is, Serena's going to be so helpful in getting the music ready for us, is that there's so many tools out there that can help us find the one, okay? Back then, there was no YouTube when I was learning, there was no Spotify, there was no Pandora, there was none of these things, right? It was just like a CD player, and hopefully somebody like Eddie Torres would create a CD that says 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. En español, vamos a hablar que de todas las cosas que podemos usar ahora, que tenemos disponibles para el uso, de cómo podemos escuchar la música, cómo vamos a encontrar el uno. En aquel tiempo donde yo estaba aprendiendo, no había YouTube, no había Pandora, no había Spotify, donde hay toda esa música. Había un radio y había quizás un CD de un instructor llamado Eddie Torres que también contaba 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. Now, I'm going to be talking about sitting and versus standing, okay? I'm going to bring this stool over here. And one of the exercises that you might want to do is just to really sit and make sure that you are calm, okay? Closing your eyes. Really just, almost, it's a meditation where you're just hoping if you can, and you hope, if you can grasp finding the one, okay? Now, for example, if Serena puts a song on for me, and we're not going to use a 1, 2, 3 yet, but if she's putting a song on for me, I'm just going to relax and listen to everything that she talked about. The bars, or the phrasing, the structure. Ahorita lo que estoy haciendo es como voy a meditar, voy a cerrar los ojos, voy en realidad voy a escuchar, no voy a escuchar si me gusta la canción o si me gusta, estoy buscando la estructura de esta canción. Lo más importante de esto, calmado. Ahora, lo que estoy haciendo con la mano, what I'm doing with the hand, is telling me where do I think the one is. Now, if you're wrong, or at least you're trying. Okay. Now, if that doesn't work for you, okay, and you're just sitting there and you're like contemplating, oh my gosh, I can't find the one. I don't know what's going on, and you're getting frustrated, then you know your next step is to take that chair out of the way and is to actually start moving, okay? You gotta move, because if you're just sitting there and you're just hoping for it to come to you and it's not coming, then stand up. Lo que estoy hablando es que realmente si uno está sentado, está ahí buscando la música y en realidad no le está trabajando, podemos probar la segunda forma, que es de levantarse y estar parado. Now standing now gets you even closer. I always say gets me even closer to the universe, right? To the music. Maybe the speakers are up there, then I'm standing and maybe I can get closer to the beat if I stand up. And so if I play that song, again, I'm going to remain calm. Okay. Now one thing that I'm doing, which is really important, algo importante que estoy haciendo es, once I found the one, and I feel the one is there, I'm going to count it. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, and I start my bass. I've got my eyes closed because I'm trying to feel it. And stop. Okay. Now, how about if you're still not getting it? Si todavía estoy haciendo estos pasos, estoy tratando de buscar el uno y todavía no lo encuentro. Try a different genre of music. Salsa is, and we'll try this Ed Sheeran song. Salsa is very difficult. I mean, it's jazzy. It's got all these instruments coming. There's something called a montuno. Some of you say it with me. Montuno is the piano arrangement in the music, which is something that I use. And we'll talk about this further in our next part. But sometimes salsa music is really hard to train, to listen to. And musicians will tell you this. Okay? Pregunta.
Okay, there are more questions. So, but before we do the Shape of You song, let's do this question right here. I love it. I think this is perfect. Two things. One is, Nery, how can someone be so isolated at the music, like just connecting to the music in the club, when the club is crowded and everybody's really so close?
Okay. And I love that. And we're going to talk about that because I actually create a scenario in my own house of how the club is. Because most of you, if you've taken classes, you get the moves, you're getting it in class. But the moment you step into a social environment, you lose it all. You're like, oh my gosh, this is what, you forget moves, you forget timing, you forget your own name. Okay, and then what? You got to go to the bar to get your what do you call it? Your juice. I forget there's a name for it.
Liquid courage.
Liquid courage, that's what it is. And so it's the confidence, and I'm gonna help you today how to build that confidence so when you walk into that club, you're ready prepared. So that's a great question. We'll move that in the future in this class today.
All right, so just one more really quick. I love it. It actually relates to what I taught before, which is for on one, from Brendan. Hi, Brendan.
Hi, Brendan.
For on one and on two, will your one always be in the same place? Your one, musically, Brendan, it's located in the same place because the music is fixed, right? That song is that song. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's always located however the composer created it. That doesn't change. And then physically, if you dance on one or on two, if you're talking about in physical space, then your one will be located, your step for number, count one, will be located in a different place in space, but not in time.
I don't know how you can say that.
Yeah. Well, Brendan asked in English, so hopefully that helps in English.
Okay. So as we listen to this, and remember, we're going to talk about this in the future. Vamos a hablar de eso en el futuro, about songs that change beat within the whole structure of the song. So there's a famous song called Rebelión by Joe Arroyo. Estamos hablando de canciones que mantienen la estructura, pero a veces van a contar 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 y después va 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm talking about how you're counting the whole 8 count, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Second comes in, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and you know something just happened. We'll talk about that in the future, but that does occur. Not all of the structure is going to be 100% with all the music. Now, we're going to listen to Ed Sheeran. Estaba hablando de que si la salsa les cuesta encontrar el uno, traten otros tipos de música, rock. La música rock es más fácil que la salsa para encontrar el uno. Music like rock or pop are sometimes easier to find the one than it is in salsa. So for example, we're going to play this song. It's by Ed Sheeran, The Shape of Me. And it's a popular song, so sometimes if I don't hear salsa rhythms in my mind and choosing the one, I'll jump into another genre. So, let's try this. Notice that an instrument got introduced to the one.
Club isn't the best place to find the lovers, so the bar is where I go. Me and my friends sat at the table doing shots, tripping fast, and then we talk slow.
Keeping it down.
Come over and start up a conversation with just me. Trust me, I'll give it a chance. Now take my hand, stop, and the man on the jukebox, and then we start to dance. And now I'm singing like, girl, you know I want your love. Your love was handmade for somebody like me. Come on now, follow my lead. I may be crazy, don't mind me. Say, boy, let's not talk too much.
Coming
Coming down, follow my lead. Coming down, follow my lead.
One.
I'm in love with the shape of you.
So,
DJ
DJ
Serena.
Serena. So it's really important, it's bien importante, that you switch it up. Maybe those salsa songs are not working for you that day. Then try a different song. Tal vez que la salsa le está costando encontrar el uno en ese día, pero si usa una canción así como esta, que es pop, a veces es más fácil. And now you're building confidence. Ahora la confianza está creciendo. Now you're building confidence because you're saying, okay, that salsa song was really difficult, but yet I can find it with this song, this pop song. So again, you're training your ears to really start looking for the structure, really start finding the one. Es bien importante that you do multiple things. When we're teaching classes, I make my students clap up, yes? And so it's really important that you physically tell yourself, there's the one. And I clap really loud. And it's really important that when I do that, it's that I'm telling myself, with all the confidence in the world, even if I'm wrong, that's where I think the one is. Now, the other thing is that I get asked this question, and I don't know, Serena, if they've asked you before, but it's, Nery, you still count after 19 years of dancing? And I said, yes. Every single song that I dance, I'm still counting. La pregunta que siempre me hacen es, Nery, tienes 19 años bailando salsa, ¿tú todavía cuentas? Y la respuesta es, sí.
Claro
Todas
que
las
sí.
canciones, todas las canciones que me han visto bailar, every song that you've seen me dance on YouTube, I'm counting. And especially when I'm dancing on two or dancing cha-cha, I'm always counting. You know why? Because musicians still count every time they play a song. And so we are part of the music. We are part of the band. We're part of all of it. So why are we not going to count? And if you're not going to count, then you're missing a huge part of this whole thing we call dance. Bien importante porque los músicos todavía no cuentan. No importa si tienen 30 años tocando música como Gilberto Santa Rosa, esos músicos todavía están contando. So, como bailarín también tenemos que contar. Okay, so this is the part that a lot of people say, how can I apply all this? Okay, I'm at home, I'm practicing, I'm listening. How can I practice this? Now, one of the biggest things, and I'm going to ask Serena before, is there any questions before I bring you on board, or we're doing good?
There are. I just going to answer two of them really quickly. So one is Gaga. Yes, you need to be counting, my dear. She says, that's what I was doing wrong this whole time. I wasn't counting. That's true. So you really want to make sure you're counting, and that's how you identify where you need to be, where you need to be in the music. Is it the one, or what is it? And then another question from Oliver. Hi, Oliver. Now, this is a structural question, a physical question, but I'm going to answer it anyway. So he says, when we dance salsa, the girl and the man are on different timing, right? Like the men are stepping forward on one, and the ladies are stepping back on one, and so on. Would it be okay dancing the other way around? So it is okay dancing the other way around, and that's actually called dancing on five. Dancing on five is just as dancing on one is when the lead breaks forward on one with their left foot. Dancing on five is when the lead breaks forward on five. And that's a different type of dancing. Like there's on one on one LA style, then there's on five, then there's on two Puerto Rican style, and on two New York style. These are all styles of the physical movement. Again, remember what we're doing today, we're talking about the music, and we're talking about taking the invisible, like what we can't see. You can't see the one, that's why we have to find it. I can't see it. So how we're able to, once we're able to find it and identify it, then of course you have the freedom to choose how you'd like to step. Would you like to step one? Would you like to step one? Would you like to step 1, 2? What? That's up to you. 1, 2. That's a different class. But remember, all of that's your choice. You decide what style, what dialect of the language of salsa you want to dance, cariño, anything. But what we're doing is we're taking the music from invisible to be able to understand and process, and then now discovering where the one is. And then after that, you pick where you want to put it, like physically. But where it is in music is, it's a fixed thing. It's where it is. Just, it's there. The beginning of the bar is only where the beginning of the bar is. All right.
Beautiful. Ok, ahora vamos a practicar cómo podemos usar toda esta información y ponerlo en la pista de baile. This is how we're going to practice making sure, and for those more teachers out there, this is a great tool that we use when we have 100 students, hundreds of students, right? And we apply this because a lot of schools sometimes teach the moves, but we never give them the chance to discover it on their own. So it's really important that you do this exercise with your students, with yourself. Es bien importante que se puede aplicar esto y lo practiquen mucho. Muchas escuelas solo enseñan los movimientos, pero nunca ponen la aplicación de cómo tengo los nervios de ir a pedirle la mano a ella, mantener el látigo y mantenerlo y bailar y terminar así mismo. Okay.
And then we say to and then you say to your students like, okay, you learned all these patterns, now come on to our social.
Come and dance.
Or come on to our club. This bridges the gap between learning and applying it out in the club, in the scary zone, in the war zone. This is that practical application, but still in a classroom environment that keeps it safe.
So, this is what happens, all right, when you go out to a club. You're nervous. You're starting, you know. You're in chanclas, okay? Esto es lo que pasa cuando uno va a bailar socialmente y uno como guía, like as a lead, I'm nervous. And first of all, I'm nervous because I don't even know if she's going to say yes to my dance. And I'm here worried about the timing, about my moves, about my breath. All these things are going through our minds. But the most important part is I'm connecting to the music. I love the music, right? This is what happens typically. You ask a girl out to dance, she says yes, okay? And you don't even give it a chance. You haven't even taken the time to listen to music, right? Or you do this. She's here, she's looking at you, and you do this. And your confidence level just went down the drain, and she looks at you with a face of like,
And I'm like, ah,
here we go. How many of you have ever experienced that? Now, I know I have. So what I'm going to say is you must be prepared. Okay. Lo más importante, lo que pasa mucho en el baile es que uno le pide la mano a ella para bailar. Cuando uno llega a la pista, ahí se pone a buscar el uno. Y pobrecita ella porque ahora nos está esperando a nosotros, que lo estamos haciendo al revés. We are doing this all backwards. So what I'm saying is we're doing it all backwards because we're trying to get our partner without connecting to our first partner, which is
la música.
La música. El problema es que estamos tratando de conectar con la pareja antes de conectar con la primera pareja, que es la música. Okay? So, if Serena, do you want me to get
Being the DJ?
and be the dance partner and everything?
DJ.
Ella nos va a poner una canción y les voy a enseñar lo que yo hago para pedirle la mano y estar preparado. Porque lo primero es crear confianza en el baile. So the most important thing is that I want you guys and my ladies, remember, even if you're sitting there, ladies, you should be practicing finding the one and keeping the one. Why? Because we're speaking the same language. Now, for the leads, your job to build confidence is to make sure you connect to the first partner, find the one, okay, knowing that, okay, I can find the one, and then come prepared to her, and she will look at you like, man, this guy's prepared, this lead is ready to take it. Okay.
This guy's dancing on time.
So put on a song. He comes prepared. Okay? I'm listening to the song. I'm like, and guess what? If I don't have that many moves, I'm going to take my time. The song is 4 minutes long at least. Okay? So I'm going to let it go a little bit. Why go so quickly when I don't have that many moves?
What if somebody asks me to dance?
Right? So I'm taking my time because I want to make sure. Tomando mi tiempo.
Count one. I feel it. One. I'm gonna keep it. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. Lo que estaba haciendo era contar y a la misma vez, cuando iba a traerla, estaba contando. Now, the most important part about that exercise is that I actually go to a section across from where my partner is, and I'm focusing where the one is. I'm trying to find it, and if I find it, I'll do a basic. Once I'm ready and I'm confident enough, I'm going to keep it. I'm going to count 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 5. Remember, I don't have to verbally ask her to dance. My body language is saying, let's dance, while I'm still, in my mind or in my mouth, counting 5, 6, 7, and then bring her in. Now, these are great tools to do. Practice, 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 practice. You don't even need a partner, actually, because what you're doing is building your confidence. Using what Serena just taught you half an hour ago, now you're applying it, you're constantly doing it, and guess what? When you go to a club, yes, you have the smoke, you have the lights. Guess what I do in my house? I put up some smoke, I put up some lights, and I have people...
Don't smoke, guys, don't smoke.
And so, a veces cuando uno va a bailar, se le olvida todo, dice, ay, es más fácil hacerlo cuando no hay nadie, pero con la presión de toda la gente que está alrededor, con el humo, con la música y todo, es bueno entrenar. And the only way you're going to get better, la única manera que uno se va a mejorar en esto, is going out dancing. Now, I know we're incubated right now, we're all quarantined. I used to have turtles, I used to incubate the eggs. So, we're all quarantined, but this is a great time to practice in your own home. Yes, question.
All right, thank you, Debbie, for this question for myself. She says, she's asking me, if the lead is not dancing to the beat or on time, then what do you do?
Kick 'em. No.
It's challenging in a social situation. You know, Debbie, I answer this question on a regular basis, and I love to talk about this in my group classes, especially with people who've been dancing socially less than a year or two. It's very important, ladies and follows, to make sure you follow your partner, and they may be dancing off time. Now, let's say that they are definitely dancing off time, and you know it because you have more ear training than they do. Okay, well, the guys they're working on it, or they may not be working on it, but it doesn't matter. In that moment, our job, our number one job, even though we're told to count, and we're taught to count, even though we're taught to count, yes, be counting, but we must follow. Our first job, our first mission is to be a responder, a master responder, a master provider of the request of the lead. So in order to do that, we have to go with the flow of his lead. And if that's off time, then for 3.5 or 5.5 minutes, however long the song is, then you get to practice your ability to follow. You can focus on your balance, you can focus on your arm styling, put your focus on your technique instead of your timing, because you have said yes and you have a great dance with that person. You gift them those 3 minutes of your life and have a great dance.
La pregunta fue que, en realidad, si la chica sabe que cuando está bailando con su pareja, a veces las mujeres, las chicas, saben que su guía está fuera del tiempo. La pregunta es, ¿se le dice algo? En realidad no se le dice nada, porque lo va a matar, le va a matar la confianza, y realmente la idea es de seguirlo. Si él pregunta, Marta, ¿estoy a tiempo? Ahí es cuando uno puede decir, no. O le puede ayudar, no, Nery, no estás en tiempo. Oh, ayúdame porque ahorita estoy bien confundido, no sé si estaba a tiempo, muchas gracias. Eso es bien importante. Si el guía les pide ayuda, ahí sí puede comentar y decir, sí, les puedo ayudar, pero por favor, en realidad, no digan nada, y por 3 o 4 minutos van a bailar afuera del tiempo. The thing that I'm saying is that for leads, one of the killer of confidences is when ladies continuously tell us, you're offbeat, you're offbeat, you're offbeat, and
Right.
what happens is, it just really brings us down. However, the rule for me is, I always say, look, leads, if you want to get better, ask. If you don't feel sure, then say, hey, Martha, am I on beat? And if she says, no, Nery, you're not on beat, okay, can you get me on it? Because I want to enjoy this dance
Yeah,
with you.
right. Like, can you
So-
help? And that's perfect. It's a
So-
partnership.
Yeah, it's a partnership. And so, leads, if you don't feel secure about your final one, say, hey, look, I'm learning, I'm trying to get it right. Please tell me if I'm on beat or not. But don't tell them immediately. Let them figure it out first. And then if they have it, great, thumbs up. If they don't, say, oh, let's do it this way. But again, it's a process, it's a partnership. All of you will work together. Remember, I am here because many women got to dance with me when I was terrible and offbeat. So one of the things before anything else, before I answer any more questions, other tools that we have to our disposal right now is YouTube. Ta-da! Right? And YouTube, I found this channel that says Salsa with Counts. And I think it's an incredible tool. The person that created it, subscribed to it, took a song, and we're going to use a song called Ave Que Voy. It's a Cuban song, and it's straight on one. First of all, they have it normal, right? They have a song without anybody counting on it. The other one is a version with somebody telling you where the one is. So, for example, what I would do is, if we play that song, Serena, but let's play the version. If you go on Spotify, if you play the version that is normal, Ave Que Voy.
Okay.
So on Spotify, we're going to play the version that does not have the counts. And I want you to do that first because I want you to almost tell yourself where you think the one is, right? And if you make a mistake, you make a mistake. And once you do that, it's pushing your confidence to take the initiative to say, I think the one's there. You know, because most of us are scared to really say where the one is. And so don't be scared. Una canción que vamos a tocar se llama Ave Que Voy. Es una salsa cubana y realmente en YouTube hay un canal que dice salsa con conteos. Y es la canción Ave Que Voy y le dice a dónde está el uno. Es bien importante que oigamos la canción originalmente para nosotros entrenar dónde está el uno. Y después de eso podemos usar la aplicación donde nos dice el uno. Let's try it out. So this is the song.
La clave, mi gente. La clave llama la
I
salsa.
don't know where the one is right now. Take your time.
Salsero se
Your
llama.
knee knows.
Right?
Salsero se
How is it
llama.
going?
Salsero se llama.
Give it time.
Salsero se llama.
Ooh. I felt it. Uno, ahí. Okay, I'm telling myself, I think this is where the one is. Aquí me estoy diciendo, creo que el uno está aquí. Good. Let's put that away. And while you get the other song for us, this is the one with the counting. La otra canción, es la misma canción pero con el conteo. But before you play that, one of the things that I like to really now listen to is what was the first instrument that came on that song? You can type it in. ¿Cuál fue el primer instrumento que salió en esa canción? Lo pueden escribir y quiero saber quién me va a decir el instrumento, el primero que salió. Which one was the first instrument on that song, Ave Que Voy, that came on?
We have a guess
Okay.
from Michael. He says cowbell.
Okay, we got the cowbell,
Nicolau says la clave.
la clave.
Justice, la clave. Oscar, clave.
Aha. Do you mind playing that for
Pavel,
me?
clave.
Clave. So we got clave, clave, clave.
All right, and this is the version that has the count.
La clave, mi gente.
La clave.
La clave llama la
One
salsa.
minute. So now we're paying attention.
Salsero se llama.
Yo vengo.
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 One. One. One.
And I really found this helpful for my students to play this because now they're listening to the original song and now somebody took the time to actually put the one in there. Genius. Where were
Yes.
you 19 years ago?
Thank you, person who did that. Gracias.
I will put the link of that on the description of where you can find and subscribe to this person.
And let me tell you, as a teacher, it helps me save my voice sometimes.
Oh my gosh. And so, you know, no club is going to play this version of the one. That's why you create your own club in the house.
You play it at home.
En
You should
español.
play it.
No va a haber un lugar que te va a tocar la canción con el uno, con el conteo de ahí, pero es bueno practicarlo en la casa.
Somebody, you know, start a club where you play songs that count the one for you. That would be so cool. I'll be
Everybody's
there.
gonna love that club.
I love that club.
Woo! Okay, another application that you can use,
It's called The One.
the one, is apps. There's so many apps now on your iPhone and Android. One that I use a lot is called Salsa Rhythm. And it plays, it's so cool because it plays different instruments. You can bring in the instruments that you want, take out the instruments that you want, and it has a count in there. It's really fun because you get to create and become a musician yourself. Una de las aplicaciones que uso también aquí en los Estados Unidos hay una aplicación que se llama Salsa Rhythm. Y eso es una aplicación donde uno puede construir su música, puede poner la campana, puede poner la clave, el montuno. And so, hay muchas de esas aplicaciones que uno puede usar ahora para entrenar el oído. It's really important that we do our homework, folks, because it's the only way that we're going to use that confidence builder in our dancing. And so a lot of us are like, man, I don't know how to find the one. The best thing that I can tell you is please take what Serena has explained at the beginning of this video. She did an incredible job of breaking down the whole structure of music. And there's more to it, believe me. And we'll do a second part to all of this because a lot of you also ask that are more advanced now that you know how to find the one is how do you know when you hit the brakes? You know, and that's one of my things that, you know, it was very hard for me to explain. I just hear it. It just comes.
Right.
And, but how do I, as a teacher, explain it to you, the buildup that now, you know, goes into it, or the repetition of the pattern. And that's something that Serena was talking about, was about that pattern that I continuously listen to. Because there's songs that I can hit a break, and I've never heard that song before in my life.
Right.
So we'll talk about that in the future. But if we have any questions, anything like that, I really appreciate. No sé si hay preguntas, pero en realidad se lo agradecemos. Es una de las clases que pensamos nosotros que es bien importante, si no la más importante, para que ustedes puedan tener la confianza para salir en la pista y bailar. This is to us really, and we've been really excited. We've been planning for a long time on doing a class like this because you have to have this knowledge in order to become that dancer that you're striving for. And the only way you're going to do that is by putting in the work of really listening, really paying attention, really applying yourself to putting in the work of that structure that Serena was talking about. How did they build this and why and all these things? If you have questions, please put them on the commentary, not on the live chat, but actually on the comments below the video. And we truly hope that this, and I want to invite Serena up here. She did an awesome job. So I learned a lot. Jeez. Woohoo! So
I'm typing to you.
she's doing it all. But you know, I'm just saying we skimmed a part of something so much bigger in this, you know. And again, I always say get an education, take a music class, you know, because there's so much. You know, we've been doing this for many years, and you know, thank you to Manny Cepeda
My teacher.
You know, and one of my teachers was Richie Ray of Bobby Cruz. This guy was a pure genius, and so you're constantly asking questions, and that's what you need to do.
And don't give up, because there are so many layers to this, and it's just really great when you do get to understand layer by layer. It does take time, but take it slow, watch this over again. If, for those of you who jumped in a little bit late and you missed my portion about music and bar and structure, rewind, watch the whole thing, and it will help you so much to grow as a dancer when you understand music at that deeper level. So thank you for tuning in.
And one question that I know somebody asked was, am I a musician? I've never played an instrument in my life. And so, you know, have you played an instrument in your life?
I mean, as a little kid, so no, I'm not a musician from this point and from my past. But at this point and moving forward, that's what I'm building myself to be, to take on as a hobby for myself, because I do really want to learn. Now, how do I play these things? I want to now be a part of the music. I love having been a part of the dancing the last 20-something years of my life, but now I want to be a part of the music, like being invisible, but the physical. So I'm really excited to take that on. But no, I'm not a musician, but I know a lot about music, and now I'm able to articulate it, so it makes me even more passionate about music.
So yeah, I mean, honestly, take an instrument.
Take a music class,
Yeah.
do all the things.
So real quick, you want to tell them about what's going on tomorrow, Serena?
Yes, so tomorrow we are doing our coffee and questions, which we've been doing every Friday. And tomorrow it will be at 1 o'clock, so Nery and I will be answering questions. It's complete Q&A style, so come with your questions ready to go. Or if we didn't get to a question of yours last week, just hop right on and ask it right away in the live, and we'll get to it. We really do our best to try to answer every single question in there. And still, sometimes we can't, we run out of time. But hop in there, ask us right away if it's something that really matters to you, something that you want to know. It may be about the content from today or from the past, might be content related, dance related, or it might be something like about maybe you're a new dance teacher and you want to work on your business, or I don't know what you want to ask, but whatever you want to ask. Maybe you want to ask me where I got my glasses, I don't know. So tomorrow is your day to ask us what you want to ask us, and Nery and I will be here to answer all those questions and to help you grow in whatever way that is. So please join us. It is on this channel, it's on Nery's channel, and it will be at 1 o'clock Pacific time.
4 o'clock Eastern time, and we'll be posting that. Please follow us on Instagram. And
it's 9 a.m. New Zealand time.
New Zealand time. Thank you, everybody saying thank you so much. Much love. And guys, thank you so much for all the love, seriously.
Yes,
and we're trying our best, and please stay safe out there and healthy. And let's pray for all those out there that are suffering and having a hard time with this coronavirus, because it is a serious matter. And so please stay safe. And also, just a little bit, we also want to talk about the Kids Hungry.
Yeah, so we've been supporting an organization since the coronavirus situation has come up. You know, watching all the media around it, and one of the things that we really discovered, well, all of my staff, you know, we really discovered that there are, since the schools are closed, then the kids who are going to school are not able to get their lunch. So that is a big part of this organization called No Kid Hungry. So you can go to nokidhungry.org, and that information is actually in the text body of this video and other videos that we're doing. And you can support, you can donate whatever you want. It's just an organization. We want to continue to spread their message. So we donate to them, and hopefully if you'd like to, you can too. Doesn't matter what you donate, but you can go on that website, and